Are you struggling to find a granola that fits with your whole food, plant-based, oil-free lifestyle? I've been there, I've done that, and I've got you covered. Let's dig in. Let's go over the ingredients first. It comes from a cookbook called Be a Plant-Based Woman Warrior by Jane Esselstyn and Ann Cryle Esselstyn. I have it right here. This is what the cover looks like. First thing I have is a cup of rolled oats. I also have 1/4 cup each of chopped walnuts and chopped pepitas, which are pumpkin seeds. Moving right along, I have a tablespoon each of chia seeds, flax meal, hemp seeds, and sunflower seeds. Now, the original recipe does not call for the hemp seeds and the sunflower seeds, but I made a decision to adapt it to my own style, my own tastes, and you can do the same thing. I have a 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon and a 1/2 teaspoon of cardamom. I love cardamom, and even though it's not called for in the recipe, what I did was take the original amount of cinnamon, which was a teaspoon, and just cut it in half. So I do a 1/2 cinnamon and a 1/2 teaspoon of cardamom. I also have some maple syrup. You can certainly use other sweeteners of your choice. I'm also going to add some almond extract because I just love that flavor. Are you ready? Here we go. First thing I'm going to do is put the heat on medium high. You might hear a little bit of a buzz because I have an induction stove, and sometimes that happens. I'm going to let it heat up. And while it's heating up, I'm going to bring all of my ingredients mise en place. You've heard me talk about that before. First thing I'm going to do is add the rolled oats. And by the way, you can easily multiply, make 2 times, 3 times, as long as you have a pan that will allow you to spread the oats. I know I'm using my hand, but the pan's not all that hot quite yet. So the rolled oats are going to sort of hang out here. And once I start to sort of smell them, they get kind of a little fragrant. Then I'm going to add the next step, which is the walnuts and the pepitas. If you're wondering what I do with this, to be honest with you, I could eat it right out of the jar. It's so delicious. I put it on yogurt. I put it on my breakfast cereal, either my steel-cut oats or my rolled oats. I eat it sometimes just pour it into my hand out of the jar. It's so delicious. I'm going to move it around a little bit because I really want to make sure that it doesn't burn. I'm just starting to be able to smell it. This step usually takes maybe 2 minutes, I would say, ish. Again, it will depend on the kind of stove you have, the kind of heat, whether you have an electric stove, whether you have an induction stove, whether you have a gas stove, whether you're doing it outside on your barbecue, which you certainly can do. Sometimes I'll even bend down like this and kind of get a whiff of it and see if it really is fragrant yet. It's not quite there. It's coming though. The wonderful thing about this recipe is that it's very adaptable and you can really add the flavors that you like best. If you don't like cardamom, use all cinnamon. You can also use a combination, say, of cinnamon and pumpkin spice. You can also use cinnamon and nutmeg. Really is adaptable to your own taste. And you can also, when it's done, add some dried raisins, either golden or black raisins, or you can add some dried cranberries. You can add some chocolate chips. Trust me when I tell you, this will not last long in your house. I did make it one time with 1/2 the amount of maple syrup, and then the other 1/2 sweetener I used was mashed banana. That works too. But today I'm going to do just all maple syrup. I'm going to try to adhere as close to the recipe as I can. Sometimes people say to me, why do you bother? Why don't you just buy it already made? Well, you could, but most of the granolas that are on the market commercially are full of oil, full of a lot of fat, and it's just not necessary. Or maybe even full of a lot of sweeteners. And I like to control the amount of fat and sweeteners in my food. We are getting there. So maybe it's more like 3 to 4 minutes. Again, you want to babysit it. You want to make sure it doesn't burn. That's why I'm moving it around so much. It smells pretty fragrant. I'm now going to add the walnuts and the pepitas. And I'm going to mix that around. And I'm going to let that hang out from like 3 to 5 minutes per the recipe because you want the nuts to get nice and toasted. That releases the oils in the nuts and really helps you to taste the delicious flavor of the nuts, the walnuts and the pepitas. Already smells just divine. Well, your world makes a great wine, and I made a video about it. I'll link it here, somewhere up here in the top of this video. You'll see a link for it. All right, so you see it really can go from nothing, from zero to burn very quickly, which is why I turned the heat down to just a little bit below medium. I do want to be very careful about this. By the way, this makes great gifts. You can make multiple amounts of it and put it in jars with a little ribbon around it, very pretty, and you can give it as a housewarming gift, or sometimes I'll make them and give them as birthday gifts or holiday gifts. All right, I think we are ready. First, I'm going to turn this down to low. And even though it's low, trust me when I tell you that the oven top is still hot. I'm now going to add the chia seeds, flax meal, hemp seeds, and sunflower seeds. I'm going to mix that around. Let that kind of hang out for about another minute until it gets fragrant. I love that word, fragrant. It's not just for perfume. All right, and then the last step, which is really the transformational step, is where I add the maple syrup and the almond extract. And what happens is that it coats all of the ingredients. It sizzles. First time I did it was kind of scary, but now I'm used to it because I've made it so many times. So there you go. That's lovely. Now I'm going to do 3 tablespoons of maple syrup. You hear that sizzle? And I'm going to add a tiny little bit of almond extract, just a little bit, because that's very strong. I'm going to mix it all around because the idea is I want to get all of the oats and the nuts and the seeds, everything in here I want to get coated with this mixture. All right. All right, this is just about done. And I think if I leave it on the stove for any length of time, if I walk away, shut the heat off, which I'm going to do, if I leave it for any length of time, it will get hard and really crispy, which is fine because you can easily break it up with a spatula. I hadn't planned on doing this, but I think I'm going to add some cranberries, dried cranberries. By the way, not sure if you noticed, but I am wearing my weighted vest because it's not just for walking outside during my morning walks, it's also for when I'm doing things around the house. It helps to add weights to my frame, and it's great for building up your bones. I'm going to sprinkle some in. I'm going to mix those around. That was just a couple of small handfuls. That is done, my friends. How easy was that? It's all done. Okay, next, I'm going to put it in this mason jar. It's a pint-sized mason jar. Oh my goodness gracious, you know what? I was paying such attention to all the rest of the ingredients, but this is fine. I'm going to dump it in. I'm going to mix it around. Again, like I said, this is such a forgiving recipe, and I will have the recipe in the show notes so that you will be able to recreate this at home, and I will have the cinnamon, cardamom listed in the correct order. Oh my goodness, that smells heavenly, I tell you, heavenly. I bet you were out there watching and saying, Ellen, Ellen, you forgot the cinnamon and the cardamom. Fortunately, I remembered it. Okay, I'm going to put it over here. Into the jar it goes. This is a great funnel. It's a wide mouth at the bottom, fits right in the jar. This probably takes the longest of the entire part of the recipe because you want to be careful not to spill. You don't want to lose any of the goodness. I wish I could show you how delicious this smells. I'm going to show you another little trick. I'm going to take some wax paper and pour this got to be careful. I probably could have used a bigger one, but that's okay. This is going to work. And then I'm going to bring it together like this. I'm going to hold it really carefully and pour it in. Now, I have this funny feeling that I will need a bigger jar. So I will make this in 2 jars. Ooh, that's good. This is a smaller mason jar, and the funnel fits right in it. Again, hold it carefully. In it goes. I have a large jar and a smaller jar. Here comes the taste test. I can't even talk. That is delicious. So there you go. I told you it was easy. Here's my other trick to make sure you get enough water in. I fill a large 32-ounce mason jar, leave it on the sink, and I try to drink at least this whole thing, if not 2 of them a day. I count them. Watch. I might have cheated and done 8, but you get the idea. I would love it if you would like this video, and if you haven't subscribed, please smash that subscribe button so you don't miss any of my plant-based goodness. My name is Ellen of Ellen's Healthy Kitchen, and I help you plant your plate one healthy meal at a time. I'll see you in the next video.